the injuries. Josh Doxson, we did not see him out there, so I'm just curious if there was something going on there.
We will give you an update tomorrow on the injuries, John.
So you're saying it's injury related with him?
I don't know. I can't remember. Is that it?
That's all I got.
Drew Brees obviously has been doing his thing for a long time at a high level. You had Aaron Rodgers last week. Working with Alex Smith, a guy who also has been at a high level for a long time, do you feel like sometimes maybe he's a little underappreciated just in terms of where he is in that
yeah,
class?
Probably. You know, statistically, he's probably not where those guys are, but production-wise, as far as wins and losses, he's got to be up there close. So, you know, I know we're happy to have our guy. I know they're happy to have their guy. Drew's a great player. Aaron was a great player last week. You can see the fear that he puts in defense's eyes sometimes when he moves around, and the same thing with Drew, almost 50,000 yards, I guess. So productive players for a long time. It shows they got consistency, and obviously great people and great players.
I'm sure there will be some kind of to-do when he gets his record. Do you coach your guys as to how to react to something like that?
No. Just hopefully he doesn't get it. You never know.
What is it about him that you've admired over the years with Drew?
Well, I think he's got unbelievable accuracy, number one. He's got great anticipation, great accuracy, and fundamental skills in the pocket where he can move around and stand tall. He gets on his tiptoes, and he sees the field extremely well. He knows where the weaknesses are in every coverage, and he can attack you. So it's very important for us to disguise our intent and try to get after him as best we can. But if he has time to see the field and read what your intent is on defense, he'll find the open guy. He's done it his whole career. So, you know, I think that's what he's best at. And he's gets in unique formations, shows your hand, and he gets into the right play.
Jay, as an offensive mind, when you watch a guy like Kamara on film, I mean, what do you think? I mean, beyond having to stop him, I mean.
Yeah, no, he's obviously dangerous in all phases. You know, in the running game, I think he's undervalued. Probably everybody thinks about him as a pass catcher, but he's very good in the running game. You know, and you know, obviously when he gets outside or coming out of the backfield, he's very dangerous on screens and option routes. And you know, compare him to Chris Thompson very similarly. Before Chris got hurt last year, their numbers were comparable. But they do a great job utilizing him in all spots on the field, in the slot, outside, in the backfield, in the eye. So he's a guy that is very dangerous.
Where does that trend, kind of guys like him and Chris Thompson, I mean, that seems to have blown up in the last few years. I mean, why has that really developed?
Yeah, I think that type of guy is hard to find, really. You know, running backs that can handle the running between the tackles and also get out in space and win on pass routes and also be effective in pass protection. It's not easy. You know, that type of body, that type of skill set, the quickness in and out of your cuts, the hands, the route definitions that you have to have, the protection, the strength you have to run between the tackles and outside. You know, they just don't come along every day. When you do get one, it's fun to play with them because you utilize them so many different ways.
Can you remember a player quite like Taysom Hill, and then how do you guys treat him when he's on the field?
Yeah, he's a little bit of everything. I don't know what position he is, but he plays everything. So he's a guy you got to be aware of. You know, can't treat him really like a wildcat quarterback because he can throw it. So, you know, you have to play your gaps. You have to be sound and treat him like a Tim Tebow-ish type guy, you know, who can run the football, catch the football, and obviously throw it.
What have you made of Josh Doxson season to this point?
I think statistically it's not where he wants to be, but I think he's getting better. I think, you know, we're 2-1. That's the bottom line, and been pretty productive on offense. Sometimes he'll be asked to do more and make some plays. Hopefully it'll be this week, but, you know, I think he'll make plenty of plays for us by the time the season's over.
And in training camp, you had said that you wanted the red zone to be an area where, you know, he kind of gets the ball. Have the opportunity's been there, and it just hasn't been. How has he kind of performed in that?
Yeah, we tried
area?
a couple. We tried to fade to him against Indy. We overthrew him out of the back of the end zone. Then we had one. They held him, I think, last week against Green Bay, where he got the PI, which is good. He gave his first and goal to one, and Adrian took it in. So, you know, I think the more attempts we get, the more opportunities he will see.
Jay, Mac Brown's been a guy that's been active for you, had some success in 2016. How do you see his role? He's on the practice squad now, but what is kind of your vision for Mac going forward?
Yeah, Mac is a good guy to have on our practice squad because he knows the system pretty much, and we know what he can do with the football. You know, and you know, we have Samaje obviously also and Capri, but having Mac Brown out there, you know, with Adrian's ankle the way it is a good get for us. Just a little insurance for us down the line if we need it, but hopefully we won't have to use them. But if we do, I know Mac will be ready.
Jay, when you're looking at New Orleans defense, what stands out to you, and how do you get a good feel of it, considering they've kind of been really up and down in the first 4 games?
Yeah, they didn't play very well against Tampa Bay. They had their way. Fitzpatrick had a heck of a game against them and threw some very nice passes against them. Had some big plays to Deshaun and Mike Evans and their tight end OJ. So they gave up some plays in that game, but they settled down a little bit. They have some young players back there, and they lost Patrick Robinson, their nickel, so they had to move some people around. Their front 7 is very good. They can rush the passer. Jordan's an excellent player. And the rookie they have is a strong player finding his way. So I think they're very dangerous. They're strong up front, and their coverage, I think, is getting better and better. Thank you.